Hello.
Welcome.
You're here at the first ever Coven Co podcast. Ashley and I decided to move everything onto a podcast because we were giving a lot of information for free, but what we realized was a lot of people just want to learn and they just want to hear, and they aren't necessarily interested in buying all of the things. So instead of having this like huge space, we can connect with you anywhere, anytime pretty much, and whenever you're ready on your schedule instead of it always having to be on our schedule.
And so here we are.
We done did it. Yes. Yes, we're in my basement. Yes, we still have some epic products. But all of that is going to be moved online essentially. Unfortunately, we can't ship internationally. It'll just be more local, but it is what it is. We're building up one step at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Starting from the bottom. Moving up.
Going a little bit backwards, but that's okay. And I'm going to apologize for my hair. It's just...
It's the lion's mane.
It's here.
It's here. It's going to be our new thing.
I know. I'm like, this is why you had to have it.
That's right. This is going to be
So I think that as, first podcast, I think that we should kind of introduce what our visions are for Coven Co. So you can kind of see if we're your people and, massage it and see if you want to work with us. And if you don't, or whatever, if you want to learn about something, message us and we can always do a podcast about it. I think that that's pretty fair. And if you're interested in working with us individually, I think that it's also a pretty good opportunity. So I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to let you start with the questions.
Was I supposed to have questions?
No, I'm going to let you answer the question of where you envision Coven Co. to be and what you want.
Oh, come on. You have the answer for that.
No, but I think that you also, as like the co-person, get to have a vision because your vision might be slightly different than mine and the vision's always going to change. And so I think that this is a really great opportunity for people and practitioners kind of to come together in a coven essentially and bring it all together. So like, what are you... That's the purpose.
I was like, come on, this is your thing, girl.
No, but
I feel like we are on the same page, but yes. You definitely... Listen, she articulates this part of it better than I do, okay? She's trying to play it up like I got the words and I don't have the words that she's got rolling off her tongue right now. So... We like to be a collective.
100%. Our people are our people, and we don't want to take money from you. We want you to learn. Sure, if we make money on the side, we welcome that. If you want to work with us individually, I mean, there's always an energetic exchange, but I think that the whole purpose of Coven Co. is... a coven is a collective, usually of women, but I'm not going to turn anybody away. And co means it can be really about anything. It doesn't just have to be about witchy stuff. I'm a witch. Ashley's a witch.
But we're open to all kinds of healers.
Anything.
Like medical practitioners, alternative medical practition, all of the things.
Spiritualists, anything we're really open to. Even though we both are witches, we both have very different styles, and we've learned very different magical practices and beliefs, and just, Ashley will release in the full moon, and I like to release in the new moon, and it doesn't mean that she's wrong, and it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean either one of us is right, but you do what you're called to, and it doesn't mean that anybody's wrong, but we are just very open-minded to welcoming how everybody feels.
And also trying it a different way. Like, I'm...
1,000%.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right? Like, I've done it this way for so long, but that sounds really cool, and, maybe I'm going to like it that way instead. So being open to just trying new ways and different practices is kind of cool, too.
And even just for your own healing, because I always feel like we're always on this journey of healing, and healing can be anything, and it can look any different way for anybody. So you might just have to go and get on some vitamins, and that's healing for you. Where I might have to sit down and do 10 years of therapy. And we do have a client and somebody that we know, and hopefully she will join our podcast. And she does microdosing, and that's and she's gotten, I think the evidence shows that in some really good microdosing sessions, you can have like 10 years of therapy, like finished in one session. Yeah. And I feel like if I talked to like, you know, myself 10 years ago, I'd probably be like, no, absolutely not. Any drug addict would say that. And now doing my work and really taking the judgment hat off, I'm like, yeah, so where do we do this?
Yeah, like it's like, oh, that's going to open up that kind of healing for me.
Yeah. And like, and I can possibly think that much more outside the box. I like really welcome it. And, you know, I mean, I think we all can be stubborn in certain aspects, and that just makes us individual.
I'm very stubborn.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. True. And a little passive aggressive.
Accurate. But I mean, I don't mean to be.
It's true.
I don't mean to be. And I know that it's a thing that I've learned that I'm trying to unlearn. So I don't mean to be, but sometimes that comes out.
But I also think too, like, I am not a neurotypical person, because that's like the saying now. I have ADHD, fibromyalgia, some other shit that we don't have diagnosed yet. And so I find that sometimes just relating to people is a little hard to just understand somebody else's perspective in a way. Like, I'll say to my husband, like, I don't understand why so-and-so's treating me like this. And is it something that I did? And he'll say something, and I'd be like, okay, but like, can you give me an example of like when I've done it? And it sounds so stupid because I actually just genuinely don't understand. Because I also am a blunt person. So I sometimes can be a little too blunt, where I'll call a spade a spade. And my therapist tells me the normal way to have a conversation is like this. So you start with hi, then you have the heavy conversations. And I go like this. I have the hard stuff first, and I'm like, hi, I'm Amanda, okay, bye-bye. And like, literally, like, it's really fucked up. But apparently that is like an ADHD thing. Like, you overshare.
Oh, I overshare.
And so I've already thought of the conversation that we've had in my head. So I already fucking talked to you.
Right.
And then I come in and I say this really like obnoxious thing, which like knocks you, because you're normal on your ass. And then I'm like, oh, energetically, I'm like, why'd that go really weird? Like, why doesn't she like me? And then like, I just like, so I'm reading the room energetically for anybody's fucking talk to me. So I fucking know everything about everybody, come into a conversation, start it in the middle of the fucking conversation, and then I'm just like, hey, peace out. Like, that went really well. And then Brian's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Okay, so
this way.
We gotta go this way.
This way.
Yeah.
But I really struggle with that. So in my interview, because I got like a kind of like a job promotion thing, I actually took over the interview, and I kind of think that that's why I got the job, was because I took over the interview in the second half. So they like totally stumped me, because they put the 4 questions in front of me. So I read them all, got stumped on question 4, and it was a really basic question, and I just drew a blank. And so I just bullshitted my way through it, but I was already thinking ahead. So I was like connecting all the questions. And then I started asking them questions, which they were like, hold on. And then I was like, no, it's fine. And then they're like, but are you sure you don't have anything else to say? Like, you went through it really fast. And I'm like, yeah, I have ADHD. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. We're good.
And I was really, like, honestly, the whole time I was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I'm going to get this job. But either way, I need to figure some shit out for myself, because I've been on this journey where I've opened like a whole shit ton of doors and kind of like put a finger in each one of them and haven't really like committed. So I was just like, if I get it, I get it. And I'm going and I'm walking through the door. And if I don't, then I don't. And that was just, so the door's open. So I'm walking through it, which was really fucking hard to be.
Okay, wait, pause. Are F-bombs and profanity is...
Did I swear?
Oh, you've been F-bombing a whole lot.
Yeah, I guess it has to be.
Just, I mean, we may be bleeping those, but in case you didn't know they were coming and you were taken aback, we're apologizing.
We'll put an E beside the
explicit.
podcast.
Okay, so now
yeah, and I like, see, I'm not even that self-aware. I didn't even realize I was swearing.
I was like, ooh, we're right deep in the F-bombs today. I was like,
did I swear that much?
First podcast, and we went hard for it. In the most loving way. We mean that in the most loving way. She means that in the most loving way. Back to our vision. Our vision is to just
show up as we are. I know, that was I know. Brian's, you know what he's doing? He's going to be YouTubing the shit out of stuff. That's what he's going to do. I love my husband.
They're going to pick up. I'm sure. You think? You think they'll be able to hear it?
Well, we got GarageBand.
So our vision is to bring you topics that we find interesting, that we have loved researching and diving into, and things that we hope that you want to dive into. And then also expanding and being open to having other people on the podcast, like Amanda said, and doing different interviews with different types of practitioners and healers and other witches and all of the people, and co-creating it together.
And I welcome even those other practitioners that just have those different belief systems, because when I was kind of drawn into getting a little bit more into the hoodoo and voodoo, because when I first started out, because I'm getting a little ahead of myself, I was very Celtic, so it was all in white light. And then I went a little Nordic, and for whatever reason, like Nordic was kind of like, for me, like that bridge was the gray area for me for whatever reason. And then when I got into the hoodoo and the voodoo, it really gave me an opportunity to understand that the dark side isn't bad. Right. And it doesn't always represent evil magic, and it doesn't always, hurt people, and it's like that for a reason. And so anybody who's casting against you, yes, they can just be an asshole, and that's very, can totally happen, but it's more likely that you probably accidentally hurt somebody, not realizing.
Unintentionally. And
so for me, it just kind of opened up the door to be like, okay, maybe it takes some self-reflection if I'm feeling something. Right. And it takes a little bit more self-reflection if I'm gonna do it. So I usually have I sit on something for at least 24 hours before I'm going to cast. And I've only ever made sour jars. That is as dark as I've gotten. Because for me, it just feels appropriate, because when I do it, it is based off of a lesson. And that for me is something that just, it just resonates with me.
Yeah, your sour jars are never for malicious intent.
No.
Which is it's like, aren't you trying to do dark? Well, no, I'm not.
No,
I'm not trying to be dark and mean.
But you're also, sometimes you're just calling back somebody's ripple and their karma, and
exactly,
we do see it, and I mean, you see it in true crime podcasts and stuff, where you have this guy or this person, who for years tormented people, and then by the time they're in their 60s, that's when they get caught in a cold case, and you're like, how did you go so long without any karma or any ripple coming back, where you have to do some justice? So if we want to call to magic and we want to pull that ripple back quicker, I'm kind of okay with that, based on life. And sometimes that's what it takes for people to heal, and sometimes for others that's not the way to heal, and I think that having an open and welcoming community that can meet you in your best times, in your saddest times, in your darkest times, and just meet you on that level, I think is really important, especially nowadays, just in being a human. Everything is so fucking stressful. Everything is so hard.
We don't have villages anymore. We don't have the communities in the villages like we used to,
but even just an understanding, we're in this day and age where we're so understanding, yet we're so out of touch. Hey, we've done so much push with inclusion, but we can't even sit down and have a conversation anymore. Everything's a debate of who hurt each other more, and I think,
or who's at wrong, or right, but I'm more right than you are.
Yeah, and I've been more hurt than you have been, and at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter, because a small T trauma for you could resonate so deeply, and a big T trauma for me might not hit as deep, and it's just the way that we're built, and it's just the way that we process things. And I think it's just really important, because when I first got into it, I was in a community where I thought I was safe, and I wasn't. And I ended up falling victim to, you know, some shit with like a person who thought they were a guru and who really pushed me to go out of my element. And on one side of it, I'm really thankful for that, because I feel like without the pushes, it wouldn't have challenged my A-type personality side. But at the same time, my intuition is very A-type, and so I feel like it threw that off a lot more, because I was questioning so many things about myself, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so I feel like just having like an open community where, you know, we're all enlightened and we can all kind of give our opinions and our background is just really important for people. And just understanding that you're not alone in whatever way you've handled things. And,
yes, because we're not perfect, and we don't always get it right the first time, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes, but learning from them is really the important part of it.
Well, and at the same time too, like, you could have somebody who in a year makes these miraculous changes because they're just ready and everything just lines up. And then you could have somebody who starts their journey and like that first hurdle, it takes them like 2 years to get over, because it just takes them that long. And you can't give up on those people.
No.
As frustrated as we might get sometimes, can't give up on those people. No. And yeah, and I just think it's really important. And we're in such a society where we're looking at TikTok and all of these like really fast-tracked things that we're really not looking at the big picture. And we're trying to be aware, but we're not aware. You know, we're trying to do these two things that we're just not doing. You know, we're trying to be like, hey, let's source ethical crystals. And then you get into the game and you're like, unless you're fucking flying the plane and going and mining them yourself, you ain't got a fucking clue where that shit came from. None. And so you see these crystal shops that are sitting there going like 100% ethical. Bitch, I saw your nails. You did not mine this shit. So
your fingers don't look dirty enough. It is hard. And like even I think even when you travel overseas to find your specimens, it can be hard to be sure that they are coming from where they're coming, or you're being told that they're coming from, even when you're in a country of source, right? Like, how do you know how it was actually extracted unless you're kind of involved in the process? So it's hard.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you look at like there's stones like malachite, and malachite's only mined in Africa. And we know about the child mining. We know about all the horrible things that go on there. So, I mean, the likelihood of that being ethically sourced is very, very low. And I mean, and then you have like the malachite, or not malachite, it's the green one, the really expensive one starts with an M.
Yeah. I have a piece of that, remember? And I broke it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, why am I drawing a blank to what it is?
And you know what's funny? I always do.
Yeah, and it's like a really apparently it's really fucking crazy expensive. A green stone. Dun, 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 dun.
Stop. Will just keep screaming it at us. We'll get it.
You know what? When we edit and we remember, we'll put it up on the screen. And it's there.
Can I look it up?
Yeah, look it up, because it's really gonna piss me off. Okay. Anyway, so this stone, it's so on the tip of my tongue. And once you say it, it's gonna piss me off.
Moldavite.
Oh, I knew it.
Moldavite.
Yeah, so, and then everybody's spending all this money on Moldavite because like these people like did like a TikTok on it, and I'm just kind of like, Moldavite is not a beginner stone.
No.
First off.
No.
And just because it has these physical properties to it doesn't mean that there isn't other cheaper stones that has the same fucking properties to it.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and like the same with like amethyst. I'm sorry, guys. You can go to Michael's and grow your own fucking amethyst.
Yeah, you can. You can grow your own crystals. You can totally do that, guys.
And
it's really cool.
Just saying, if you want to do it ethically, you could fucking sit there and be like, this amethyst is here for da 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 da, and you manifest that shit, and you put those ripples into that crystal, and bada bing, bada boom.
We'll do a class of it.
Sorry. I'm just saying, where there's a will, there's a way. And just because somebody on TikTok says it doesn't mean it's true. And
Still
we're gonna
back.
I'm a cheap ass bitch. She's a pretty cheap bitch. We spend money on things that we know are worth spending money on.
Yeah.
But like other shit, it's kind of like you can go to the dollar store, you know?
Yeah.
So we're not going to sit here and we're not going to try and sell you stuff.
No.
That you don't need.
No.
Because when you get into this game,
a lot of
Amazon, everybody will tell you, you need this, you need this. You don't need a cauldron. You could go to the fucking Value Village and get a pot, for fuck's sakes, and paint it black. I found one on the side of the road when I was at work. And we used it for our makeshift coven. Right. And I still have it.
That's right. It's right there.
It is. I know. I was like, it's over there. We use it for ceremonies. But it doesn't have to be anything like super crazy and super expensive. But in this industry, it's always like, oh, I have to buy a spell book and I have to buy whatever.
They want to see it. I'll go get it.
Okay.
I'll go get it.
Yeah. I don't even really use spell books anymore. I use them as like a base. I'm finding all like...
I feel like I'm still a baby, so I still like my spell books.
And that's totally
Amanda's
fine.
been in the game so much longer than me.
But I really haven't. Dun, 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 dun. This was my garbage day find in downtown Toronto.
So,
yeah, and it's burnt to shit on the inside. But I mean, whatever.
It works amazing. It works amazing. So today, also, what is the date today? Today is May 23rd, and it is actually a full moon. Yes. I don't have an update about the full moon. I don't even know what sign we're in because I'm so out of...
Gemini.
Oh, yeah, we are in Gemini.
Two-Face.
Gemini is all about communication and connection.
I'm surrounded by Geminis, and it's a very love and hate relationship.
It can be. It can be.
I mean, Libra, the balancing of the scales, the Gemini and the two faces, we can be very harmonious, and they can just be tipping me right in the fucking scales.
You want to hear the cutest thing?
Sure.
So, it's the full moon when tonight my son is starting soccer for the first time this year. So they did like an ID thing. They're trying to discover how good the kids are so that they can place them on teams to make them kind of even. And there was a mom with her two daughters. Their brother was playing on the field. And I think it may have been their other brother, maybe older. And he was sitting and had collected a ball of all of the grass shavings and had a huge thing of twine and was making this big ball out of grass shavings and twine. And I was like, it's a full moon when the kids are creating art
almost
outside with the, you know what I mean? With the grass. And I was like, this is like potion making. Like he's making his thing he's making a moon under the full moon. Like he didn't even know it, but he's making this huge ball. And it was just like, it was beautiful. It was really cool. And I also met a woman whose name is Ashley, spelled Leigh, who's into witchy stuff. At soccer,
like
and I was like, it's a full moon. She had green hair. I was like, she comes dressed in black green hair. I was like, oh, she's witchy. And then I find out her name is Ashley. Her son's the same age as Nick. And I'm just like,
it was love at first sight.
It's a full moon, all right.
I mean, I let you cheat on me a little bit.
Cool as heck. The serendipity. You got to look for the little things at the full moon because they always come out. The crazies come out too.
I just haven't been sleeping.
A lot of people were complaining about their sleep the last couple of days.
Like, I've been going to bed at like 11, 12 o'clock and getting up at 4.
Yeah, actually, I didn't sleep very well last night either.
Yeah, and like, on my lunch, I go and I take like a 10-minute nap because I'm like, I just need to close my eyes.
It's funny, my bestie was talking about how the 10-minute naps at her desk were the best.
Okay, so you want to hear something like crazy ironic? So I did a mediumship course.
Oh, who is here?
Year.
Someone keeps making me shiver.
Probably Dalton. if you see anything, it's probably
say hi, Dalton.
I'll explain Dalton
Back to you.
another day. So I take a mediumship course, and I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, witchiness.
I thought she'd go back.
That's what it was. So, I remember I had to do, it's called billet reading. And so somebody writes somebody's name or their own name or people that they know, and you fold it up and you put the paper in this hat, and then each medium picks it up and just gives a reading. They don't even read the name. But after you give the message, then you look it up and then you read the name. Okay. So I fucking killed this shit. I actually did. I was shitting my pants, and then I did my first reading, and I was like, I fucking love this shit. So my last reading, that's
gonna be a lot of bleeps if we bleep these out.
So my last reading, and I remember this specifically, and I don't know why this sticks out in my head, and it goes into sleep. It wraps into sleep. And as soon as I picked up this paper, I heard like an industrial fan spinning. So you know how it's like that humming?
Yeah.
Zzz. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then it just came like sleep and fan, and like this person needs to sleep, and it's saying that you need to be using like audio of like a fan or whatever. And I opened that shit up, and there was no name in it. It was a blank piece of paper. Flash forward to the last couple months, when I can't fall asleep, who's putting on fucking fan noises? That shit makes me fucking knock out in like 10 seconds.
How was there one with no name on it? Who put the one with no name in there?
Magic, man. I don't know.
Because it was at the...
Yeah, so everyone went around the hat, and then you put...
At the place in Ajax.
Yeah. And so they would put their name in this hat, right? And so unless somebody like had like a doubled up paper and it like somehow got in there, no idea. So I'm going to take it as that message was for me.
I mean, clearly.
Right?
Yeah, we have to, we put sleep sounds on in the boys' room with the fan noise.
Yeah. Ron's all about the bubbles and river.
Yours is like a kind of more white noise.
Yeah. White noise freaks me out, I think, because I get messages over it. And the last fan one that I was getting, I was getting messages. Like I kept getting hello, and it kept waking me up. So I was like, oh, okay, you're too close to white noise.
Okay. On to that. So I'm a part of a Facebook group, and it's the Matrix one.
I'm not really on Facebook all that much.
I mean, I don't really go on there a lot, but I am in this like Glitch of the Matrix Facebook group. And somebody had made a post about this, and same. So like, I'm trying to go to sleep, and there is usually a fan on, even in my room, and sometimes I don't always have it facing at me, but sometimes I have to turn it off because I'm tripping out, like I'm hearing my kids talking to me down the hallway, or like talking to me from their room, and I get up out of bed and I go to their room and they're dead asleep, and like I'm hearing kids talking to me in my house. For sure I am. And then literally the last 2 days, so I said, Matthew and I were laying in bed, my partner, and I thought I heard one of the kids going down the hallway looking for us. And I was like, you hear that? And like we both stopped, and the creaking. So I got up, and the kids were in bed. And I was like, what is happening? And then it happened again today. And I thought he was still up in the bedroom, and I got up, and I went in, and I was like, are you okay? Do you need something? He works nights, so he was going to sleep. I was like, do you need something? He was like, what? I was like, were you just out of bed? He's like, no. I was like, I could have swore.
Set up the things again.
I was like, I could have swore you were coming down the hallway. Like, what? You haven't been walking around? Like, I've been hearing you walking around. He's like, nah, I'm asleep. I was like, I gotta get out my thing and turn it on and see who's here. So
crazy.
Yeah, but the white noise thing, like when I'm trying to go to sleep, and like it trips me out because I think it's my kids, and I'm like, who? And
it's funny too, right? Because you just like, it's something that you wouldn't think about.
No.
And like even like the fan thing, like I was like fine, and then as soon as I went to like shh, and then it was like hello, and I was like, Next one.
Man, yeah. So it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to try and change frequencies from the fan and like actually put a different noise on. Yeah. But also I like kind of want to tune in a little bit too. I should maybe do that a little more.
Ashley and I also like dabble in like mediumship, and one thing that is constantly overlapping is not all witches are Wiccan, not all Wiccans are witches, not all witches are mediums, and not all mediums are witches. Okay? So we have our own belief systems. We've learned from two different teachers, very similar styles, but there's going to be things that we have just taught that is just very different, and so we'll reference spirit and our experiences as well. So if that stuff creeps you out, then we might not be your people.
But we love you still
so much.
And thank you
for that is just very different, and so we'll reference spirit and our experiences as well. So if that stuff creeps you out, then we might not be your people.
But we love you still
so much.
And thank you for being here.
But we did.
Yeah, baby.
Hey.
How cool is that? Oh, I wonder.
No.
Does that one work? Okay.
Well,
I found her. We'll see what else we find.
Maybe this is something that we need to go to Dr. Google for. Yeah, so cool. I think, we're, half an hour in, so
We're going to end it here?
We're going to end it here,
That's it.
I think it was a good...
Cut each other off.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Well, I mean, it might not actually be that long. What if we edit it? Are we going to edit anything?
I mean, I'm good. This is who we are.
We're about at 30 minutes-ish.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is who we are, so why not just, like, rep how we are,
Just let it be.
I think, like, audio editing... Maybe if we get complaints on the F-bombs, we'll start editing that out.
Well, we might try and minimize a few of those for professionalism. Also, listen, I can be pretty unprofessional sometimes too. We apologize if there's any background noises that really disturb you, like the dog chewing the bone upstairs. We're doing our best. Hopefully, that won't be an issue in the future. Because
I mean, I can bring my hellhounds down here.
Well, maybe we'll have a different spot to record.
He's watching TikTok.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I don't have to talk. I don't know.
Me either.
You don't have TikTok?
No.
We didn't even know we didn't have it.
I know. You know what? I was like, this is really cool. But when I read all the shit about how it always, it keeps access to your phone, freaked me the fuck out. And I was like, no. I was also really conspiracy theories when it came out. I was in the world of everybody's attacking us.
I just don't want to get sucked in.
I get sucked into Instagram reels and I'm I think that's bad enough.
I try. You know what I get sucked into? Comment sections.
Oh, I don't.
I get sucked into that's where you'll find me reading the comments.
Oh, you're one of those?
I just love to read the comments.
I will read the comments if I don't understand the video. If something happened and I'm like, what did I miss?
Right.
And then I watch it a couple times and then I'm like, I still missed it. I'm like, I gotta cheat here. And that's how I cheat to find it out. A lot of the time nothing actually happens. It's one of those ones.
I just love reading the comments, especially controversial shit. I'm like, ooh, let's see what
you
these
know
people
what?
are saying.
I think that for me, it's used as a turning off of my brain.
Touche.
I just want to laugh and feel good and go to sleep.
Yeah, I go to a game I play a game when I want to sleep to get me tired.
Yeah, I got into the chapters game.
Oh,
it's a dirty novel game.
I played that game,
and I was like, yo, I'm traumatized. I was in love with this mafia king. That was my gay boyfriend's dad.
Wait, have you spent money on the game?
Yeah. So I did.
Because I have too. I couldn't help it.
Yo, it gets so dirty.
It gets dirty.
So dirty that you're I can't not find out what he's gonna do. Can't fucking... We're not going to expose each other on here.
I'm just saying I have it. Is all I'm saying.
Good. So good. Shout out to chapters. Okay, so like I just got it and I've been like fucking hooked, man. Like I'm like sitting there and I'm like, diamonds, watching all the ads. I fucking timed out the ads to get diamonds so I didn't have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been saving up.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I was like,
I'm a horn dog, and I'm like, no, like we need to fuck right now in this chapter. Straight up.
It makes me angry when there's no good scenes in the chapter. If there's nothing steamy, I'm like, well, that was a waste of a chapter. What am I wasting my time for?
I know, and then I'm like, should I waste my coins on this? And I never
you're gonna be
don't waste coins
on
clothes.
Angry at how many I have. Do you want me to tell you how many?
No, I'm not gonna be angry.
I only have 61, but I have 61.
Oh, that's all right.
And then I have the maple things. I have 2,600 of those.
So how come I haven't spent those on?
Because you know what? Because I will, but they expire. So yeah. So these, look, you can select any premium, but it expires in a day. So you don't buy them unless you're playing and going to use them, because then they expire and they go away. And
I have no patience. Like if I show you how many books I've gone through,
I would probably.
You're gonna be like, you are disgusting.
I'll be jealous.
No, I need to straight up.
I need to up my game. Is the problem?
Straight up, and like BDSM, yo, I would not have been into that shit. And then I like read this book, and I was like,
I think you need to send me some of your favorites. Are we able to connect on there? Because another app I love.
I just go as Mystic Witch.
I guess I'll find
Nobody
her
will
if we
ever
can. Know. Another app I absolutely love is the Stardust app, which is the period tracking app. They also just came out with a pregnancy tracking side of it, where it's so cool. You can see the freaking baby 3D. Like if you're standing in a camera in the mirror, it'll show you like the baby 3D, like what it's supposed to look like at the week that you're at. It's so cool. It's called Stardust. But you can also connect with your friends, and it refers to you as witches. And so like I am let me go back to this beautiful. I love the Stardust app. It's so cool. It gives you really funny insights.
Yeah, like I'm kind of like, maybe I'm gonna download it.
Yeah, so I'm a red witch, so I am too much information for you. Here you go. I bleed with the full moon, so I am known as a red witch. So I am currently in my period since it's full moon. And yeah, the red witch, as a red moon witch, you menstruate when the moon is full. It's easy to remember when the moon is full, so are your underpants with blood. Red moon witches are historically linked to positions of wisdom and healing, like medicine, women, healers, and oracles. You ovulate with the new moon, which means you're most fertile in times of regeneration and uncharted territory. Your domain is that of love and battle. And so it'll tell you what you are based on like when you bleed, and it's just got really cool information. And yeah,
I'm a new moon bleeder because when I bleed with the fucking full moon, I'm psychotic.
Touche. Well, I feel like it switches and like it moves.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, I mean, we're supposed to bleed every 28 days, but some of us bleed less. So like,
or more. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. Super cool. I just listened to that podcast called 28-ish Days Later with India Raxon.
Okay.
And it's actually anywhere between like 21 and 35, 32.
Yeah, I think it was 35.
Like it's a huge span.
Yeah, I was like, wow, if I didn't get my period for 35 days, I'd be like, I must be pregnant.
Right? Yeah. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like in the last couple of years, like I feel like my cycle has changed a lot, and like done this like weird, like I'm gonna go this long and then I'm gonna go short, and I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, I find mine. I like sometimes I'll be flowing at full moon, and then I slowly switch, and I'm flowing at new moon, and then I switch back to flowing at full moon.
I wonder if it has something to do with the type of work that we should be doing. Like, I wonder if we could like line that up, you know, like start trying to like be a little bit more mindful and like be like, okay, so I'm bleeding with the full moon, so what should I be doing here? And I'm bleeding with like the new moon, what should I be doing? I just find, because I'm very like private about it, and so I like bleeding in the new moon because I feel like after I'm done my period, I always feel good. And so like for me, it's just like, okay, get it all out, done. I can sleep. Nothing's interfering, whatever. And then in the full moon, I feel good.
Because that's, yes, which makes sense.
Ovulating.
So which makes sense. So at the new moon.
So I'm like banging under the full moon.
Sorry, we said we were ending. We didn't end.
ADHD.
Right? So, because at the new moon, we're planted, it's dark. It's the dark. It's like we're planted under the soil and the light is just barely coming in and we're starting to grow up from the soil and the light then, and then the light shines and gets bigger, right? So that makes sense for you because when we bleed, that's kind of the mood that we're in. We kind of want to be within and we're, more, it's an inner time where like we're more introspective and we're more tired and it's, so like flowing with the new moon, it's an amazing release in that and of itself because you are flowing with the seasons almost of the moon and like you're tired when the moon seems to be tired and then you come into your spring summer when the moon is full in her spring summer right at her biggest tipping point when you're ovulating and so it's like that's when you're feeling your sexiest and then the moon is her sexiest because she's big and full so it is hard to actually be releasing with the moon because I kind of at this time want to be tired, but then the moon is like, no, girl, you don't need to be tired. Be living large. And I feel that struggle. I do feel that struggle. I recognize it. Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Cause I'm like but I think that's why I like to release in the new moon. I feel like there's just less light. I'm in the dark, but I also am a little bit like, I like my alone time.
Yeah.
And so I think that
and you get more of it at the new moon. Absolutely. People stay in more and they aren't as outgoing.
And so I think it just really just resonates like in the way that I do things. But yeah, when I'm in the full moon, like I'll straight up tell you, I can't even put a sentence together. Like I'm blowing out a candle and farting. Like that's just how we're rolling.
So hopefully going forward in the future, we can be a little bit more structured. We'll pick topics. We'll try and stick to them. It's not gonna happen. We're on a tangent.
It's all connected.
Well, we love going off tangents too.
It's true, but it's all connected. Like I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about oils, and like, we get into herbs, and we get into like the magical properties and the physical properties.
We're gonna talk about it all.
And I mean, like it is all connected. And so yes, we're gonna go off and have tangents and kind of explain how it is connected. And that might be something that interests you. Is like, oh, I didn't realize that this was connected to that. And then so we might have to like narrow it down, but I feel like they're all such broad, heavy spectrums and there has been a lot of information out there and there's been a lot of misinformation out there. And so we can sit here and like, I have 2 bookshelves in my house, big bookshelves, and I like to read books and I like to have a lot of information and I like to understand a 360 view of I'm sorry.
My stick that.
ADHD.
That's my stick.
Yeah. I like to have a 360 view of a lot of things. And so, so I like to sit down and have somebody tell me a different opinion and a different way of doing things in a different way. And I'll ask a shit ton of questions,
And if you have any questions.
Yeah.
Please.
And if anybody knows numerology,
reach out.
Call us because I need to learn. And I just can't figure out where to start. Like, it's just so big that I just don't even know where to start.
There you go.
Like, I've got, like, 1 to 9 figured out. But then when it goes bigger and...
You feel a little stuck.
Number cycles and all of that. I'm like... Yeah.
So there you go, if you can help her with that. And if you have any questions about any of the topics or the things that we discussed today, please leave a comment or reach out and message us directly. We would love to hear from you.
Yep, and you can go over to our Coven Co website at www.covenandco.ca. Again, we don't have a physical space. We're going to be relaunching everything to offer courses and stuff, and that's going to be all through Zoom. We realize that gas and shit's expensive and ain't nobody want to leave their house, and so we're willing to do like if we are going to do tarot classes and stuff, we will mail you your stuff because we will be providing tarot decks and stuff so everybody has everything. But yeah,
you can also follow us on Instagram. It's Coven_and ANDCO Co. And Facebook is the same.
Pinterest.
All of the goods.
We're there. All right.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for following along.
See you later, witches.
Catch you on the next one.